So the Quest 1 launched in 2019, and then following that, the Quest 2 launched in 2020. A lot of people were upset by this because they had just received their first Quest, and it was already being outperformed in literally every category, from comfort to power to screen to everything. And like I said, the Quest 1 was only out for a year, so they released this system that was $400, and then a single year later, they were saying, hey, we have a better one, it's cheaper, it's only $300, but it's way better, give us your money again. And people were like, not happy. Like, if they would have waited a couple months, they would have gotten this better system and saved money. So the question is, are we going to get the Quest 3 this year? Is this going to be a trend that Oculus continues? And I don't think this is. I think that the Quest 3 is a ways away, and I have a lot of reason to believe this. So let's start by talking about the Quest 1 and the Rift S. The Quest 1 launched alongside the Rift S, while the Quest was its standalone system. Remember, Link didn't exist at this time, and the Rift S was a PC-only system, so it continues the normal line of PC headsets that plug into your PC and you play games off your PC. But then they had this new idea that was kind of basically a video game console with VR support, where you bought the games and everything ran on the system. This added a bunch of benefits such as wireless play and all that, but we're not talking about that stuff. We're just talking about why we're not getting a Quest 3 this year. So the Quest 1 came out alongside the Rift S. Why did the Rift S launch? I doubt they developed Link in like the few months it took for it to come out. They were probably already planning it. But so why even launch a Rift S at that point? Well, I think the Rift S was Oculus's 3DS, but instead of it being the 3DS, it was kind of a planned 3DS. Hear me out. Let me explain. So whenever the Wii U came out from Nintendo, it fucking did shit. Like, it never did good ever. So instead of pushing the Wii U after it already fucking completely flopped, Nintendo put all of their effort into the Nintendo 3DS instead. The 3DS did amazing and pretty much made them all their money for that generation. So I feel like the Rift S was Oculus's failsafe. If this new standalone VR console basically doesn't do well, we still have our Rift. So they launched both. The Quest absolutely fucking destroys it. The Rift S loses virtually all support within 2 minutes. And then we get Link, which kind of replaces the whole PC functionality. We get wireless Link in the form of stuff like Virtual Desktop, which is even better. And the Quest just keeps improving while the Rift S just kind of sits in the shadows and watches. I also think this is why the Quest 1 wasn't the best it could be. Like, the screen was okay, it had pretty bad screen door, it was only 1440p. The processor that was in the system at launch was already a year old, and it didn't take too long to become 2 years old once the new one came out. The 865 released like in a couple days. Not really, it took a few months, but you know what I mean. It was very shortly a 2-year-old processor, so it was very weak. The screen was okay. The controllers were fucking shit. They were a whole design flaw. They broke so fucking easily. The rings cracked like nothing. The battery life on the controllers and the headset were both really bad. The comfort on the headset was horrible. It was super heavy and bulky, very, very front heavy. It was good. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't the most uncomfortable. It didn't have the worst screen. It played games fine. So basically they made a system that was competent, it did well, and it was just kind of a concept. It was a standalone system. So since the Quest 1 absolutely slaughtered it and did super well, especially when compared to the Rift S, Oculus was like, okay, why even have a Rift platform anymore? Let's just improve the Quest. Let's make a much, much better Quest with a better screen, better controllers, better comfort, better price at $300 instead of $400, and we'll just make the best Oculus Quest we can, and then that will be our main system. So a year later, we received the Quest 2 with all those things that I mentioned. It has a better refresh rate, better literally everything. The battery life is still pretty bad, unless you're counting the controller battery life, and then it's way better. It's definitely not perfect. Like, the FOV is the same. It's no longer an OLED panel, so the black levels are worse. The controllers I actually don't like nearly as much as the Quest 1, despite the battery life being better and then being bigger. I just much prefer the Quest 1 size. They were a lot smaller, and despite me having giant hands, I just like the smaller controllers more. But my point is, the Quest 2 is extremely good. It's very good. The Quest 1 was really good. The Quest 2 is a lot better, and it's also, of course, cheaper. And I don't really see a point in making a Quest 3. I really don't see Oculus making a third system until A, we get some kind of giant AR wave out of nowhere this year and AR becomes huge and they want to combine AR into the VR systems, or we wait a bunch of years until a much better Qualcomm chip comes out, or maybe even a proprietary chip from Oculus or something, and they put that in their system, and they make the Quest 3 much more powerful with better cameras, possibly even AR support anyway at that point. We'd have a whole lot of new stuff. It'd be great. A better screen, better comfort, better lighter. It'd be just better. But like I said, we have to wait for a better chip to launch for that to happen. And we aren't going to get a chip that is big enough to justify a leak like that for a while now. Microsoft made the Xbox One and then the Xbox One X. They're the same system. The X is just more powerful. And I feel like that's how they should have named the Quest 2. It shouldn't have been a Quest 2. It should have been like a Quest Max or something dumb like that. And then when the next new thing with like its own set of games and its own ecosystem that is outside of the Quest, like the Quest 1 and 2, that should have been the Quest 2. But they didn't. They decided to name the Xbox One X version of the original Quest, the Quest 2, if that makes sense. I just think it was a bad naming scheme, and I don't think we'll be getting a 3 for a while. I'd say give it at least 5 to 7 years before we get a 3, possibly even longer, just depending. I could see the jump from the Quest 2 to 3 being shorter than a typical console lifespan, maybe like 4 to 5, maybe 6 years. They're just kind of a shorter end, but don't expect it anytime soon. If you just bought your Quest 2 and you're afraid that by the end of this year you're going to be outperformed by a new system, you really shouldn't have to worry. You'll be fine. Your system will last you a while, so don't worry too much. Anyway, I know this video is very different with holidays, New Year's, and Christmas. Plus, I'm moving out this year. Plus, I'm getting a new job soon, like in the upcoming weeks. I've just been super busy, and I haven't had time to make anything that I was planning on. The ARG was put on hold. The Pavlov video that I recorded hasn't been edited. A whole lot of stuff has just been ugh. But I hope this suffices. I like this. I want to make more videos like this. I enjoy them. I just get to talk to y'all. I get to sit down. They're easy to make. I can actually make them whenever I want to without having to fit it into my schedule. So if you do like this kind of content, leave a like and let me know. Comment below if you want to see more. I will probably make more. But I do really hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast making it, and I'll see y'all next time.